Hello, my paranormal peeps. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the founder of Deep Woods Paranormal. I've been researching the paranormal for close to 30 years now. And we're doing podcasts now. We've been doing podcasts for just over a year. So, welcome to the Deep Woods Paranormal Bigfoot Edition podcast. This is a podcast where we only really talk about Bigfoots. So on this podcast, shadows just keep being brought up multiple times with Bigfoots. I've always said that if you can find a location that has Bigfoot activity and like consistent Bigfoot activity, there's multiple reports over the years. It continually happens and you continually experience things. The location is probably also haunted. I mean, I can cite a few locations. Black Star Canyon. I never expected to find Bigfoots at Black Star Canyon. It was just said to be haunted. Of course, Black Star Canyon could have any kind of activity. Would not be totally surprised if like a UFO came down and landed out there or some other kind of crypto creature showed up. So you have Bigfoots and ghosts and other types of cryptos out there. Out here at like Joe's camp, he has the spirits or the ghosts of the people, his family members that are buried on his property. And then he also has Bigfoots walking through the middle of his property. They come down, they take a look at what he's doing, and they just kind of wander off back into the forest and continue on down with whatever they're doing. So shadow people, I don't know. Shadow people seem to be some kind of entity that nobody really can actually say what they are. Are they ghosts? Are they maybe time travelers coming through a dimension and then crossing in and out, and we're only seeing their shadow? Are they some kind of maybe Bigfoot? And are they able to essentially create a shadow without being seen? Maybe they're translucent, maybe they are camoed well enough they can somehow bend light or something like Predator and walk right past us and us not even know that they're there. Is the shadow people, is that a ghost or a spirit of some sort? What is a shadow person? We don't really know, but they seem to be associated with hauntings and Bigfoot reports now. More and more people are having Bigfoot encounters are also seeing shadows. I've seen shadows, God, since I was a kid, a little baby actually, but I've seen them all over the forest. They're always out there. Doesn't mean there's Bigfoot activity out there, but there's shadows that kind of hang out there. They could be elementals. They could be almost anything. There is no defined, it's a this or it's a that. It's a ghost. It's a Bigfoot. And some of the Bigfooters out there now are really trying to push that Bigfoot can cross from one dimension to another, in and out of our dimension. Essentially, they show up as a shadow as they cross out of our dimension. I don't know if I believe that. I have, like I said, I've witnessed shadows in Bigfoot territory probably hundreds of times now, since I've been doing this so long. Just not sure if shadows are Bigfoots. I have not gone down that road yet. I don't think that a Bigfoot can cross from dimension to dimension. I could be wrong. I also don't think that there's some kind of alien. I think that there's some kind of offshoot of humans of some sort. Now, there's multiple different species, and who knows exactly. So there's all kinds of different species of Bigfoots. They're seen anywhere from 2 or 3 feet tall all the way up to pushing 20 feet. I've seen the 20-foot ones. They're scary as hell. They're huge. They make a normal Sasquatch look like it's a baby. So I think they continue to grow their whole life. And I don't know how long they live, but I would imagine they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think the dominant male is the one that's the biggest. And essentially what they do is they get to breed with all the females and stuff like that. And so, anyways, all right. So let's talk about Bigfoots in and around cities. There are multiple reports, and I'm not going to pull up the map or anything like that, but there's multiple reports. Like if you look at Houston, that area down there, well, it's forested, of course, and it's tropical. And there's reports all around Houston, especially on the east side, northeast, and east and south and north west. Sorry, the bottom part of Houston, all the way down into the bay down there. They've been seen, usually at night. But as people have kind of moved into these areas, they essentially have pushed into Bigfoot territory. Sorry, I'm getting a sip of my coffee. So as we kind of progress into Bigfoot territory, you can kind of see why there's more sightings now than there was before. And a lot of the sightings that happened back in the day, if you look back into the 1800s or when man was officially first here, maybe I should say the white man, Indians have a long history of seeing these creatures. They're in their cave art, they're on totem poles, they're on everything. And the native people talk about them very sparsely, if you can get them to talk about it. But I'm sure everybody's seen shows. If you're watching this or listening to this, you probably have seen, at least one show where Native Americans talked about the history between them and Bigfoots. So I do believe they are in around cities. I mean, look at Black Star Canyon. They're up in the Santa Ana Mountains or the Cleveland National Forest, away from a lot of people, but there's still people there. And I'm surprised that more people don't experience them out there, because they are elusive. They're smart enough to stay away from people, thank God. But I don't know. I just don't think that they care that people see them every once in a while. I think they're curious. They come down, they get seen, they're like, okay, I'm out, and they take off. As long as they don't feel threatened, they essentially will move out of that area. So there's a little town called Bastrop down here. Now, I am a driver now. I'm a professional driver. I drive mainly at night, I drive anywhere from noon all the way up to like 10 o'clock the next morning sometimes. And I essentially have been in and around Bastrop. It's a very forested area. It's a very protected area. It's an up and growing area. And there's just there's hundreds of deer down there, all along the 21. And as you go down through that area, it's actually like a forested area, like an old pine forest. I know there was a fire recently, but the area I'm talking about, I've researched 3 times. There's a campground there and stuff like that. But these Bigfoots seem to be in and around this area. They don't seem to care that people are there. They seem to be very elusive, which is good. I don't think a lot of people realize maybe what they're seeing or hearing in this area. I've never heard a scream. I've heard a whoop. And I think I got it on camera. You can go back to our YouTube channel and look that up. Go to Bastrop. During the nighttime investigation, we heard a whoop. We also heard what sounded like a large rock being thrown into the river next to where we were. And also, I got growled at a couple times when I got too close. But these were just juveniles. These were only 6-7 feet tall. They weren't much taller than me, if they were any taller than me. And they were about my shape and size. I mean, they were not, they were not a 10-foot Bigfoot or bigger. Now, that said, it just makes me wonder, if mom and dad are hiding out there somewhere too. The whole area, I mean, it's a easy area to hunt. I mean, I could walk down to a deer and grab it by its head or whatever and kill it. So I would imagine these Bigfoots, if they're living there, the other side of the river seems to be very secluded. There's nothing there. There's just open forest. And then around, excuse me, I got a kitty here. And then around that area, there are homes. It's a small little town, but there are lots of forested areas up there too. I mean, deer. I was driving up the little windy road up to the top of that road about a mile up, and there was just deer everywhere. I was having to go super slow because I was not wanting to hit one. So, yeah, I mean, there's a food source there for them, for sure. Where we investigate, hi, Moon. I've got a kitty wanting attention. So, where we've been investigating, it's about a mile long area, and there's vines, there's all kinds of natural blinds. I could stand behind there with people walking by and nobody would ever see me. So I don't know why they're there. Maybe they feel like it's a safe area. Supposedly Bigfoots can swim. So maybe they're cruising across the river during the day and hanging out over there and then swimming back across over the night. It's not very far across. It's maybe 10, 15 feet wide, the river area. And it's been full recently because we had been getting a lot of rain. But now I haven't been down there in 3 or 4 months. So I imagine it's pretty low. I would imagine they could probably walk down the one slope and across that little river and then walk back up the other side without an issue. So anyways, I do believe we're going to be heading back to Bastrop here shortly. I'm not going to tell you exactly the location because I don't want a bunch of Bigfoot hunters down there ruining it for the rest of us. When we're there, there's no tree knocking. There's no screams or howls. We don't do any of that. We just basically observe. We kind of walk up and down the trail, walk off the trail to see things. We found footprints and all this other stuff. And I've had, I think, 3 sightings, if I can remember right, down there, where I could say that it couldn't be anything else but a Bigfoot. I mean, that last one, it was covered with mud because it had just been pouring rain. I wonder if it fell or something in the mud. There was just mud everywhere down there. The river had overflowed. Some trees were down. Now, I think the tree that was down, it was laying across the hiking trail. It looked like something had just pushed this tree right over. So who knows? I mean, I can't claim it to be a Bigfoot, but it was interesting. Let's put it that way. That was blocking the path down there so you couldn't get down there. And the more I kind of look around, we weren't finding any tree bends, but we did see, like I said, natural blinds. And I think that they're using that as cover because you can walk right by them and not even know they're there. So stay tuned for the Bastrop investigation coming up soon. We'll be going out there. Maybe we'll do some live stuff again. We've done live on Facebook before. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording now. I don't want to blob on too long. The last podcast went almost 15 minutes or something like that. I didn't mean for it to be that long. So you guys have a great weekend. We appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing and liking our YouTube channel and videos. And the comments are always very positive. We appreciate that too. And then if you're listening on our podcast, thank you guys so much for listening and downloading our podcast. We really appreciate it. It's very helpful. So anyways, one more thing I wanted to bring up because I've seen this comment on our YouTube channel 3 or 4 times now. Why do you guys go into the woods and make all that ruckus with the tree knocks and the screams and all that stuff? 99% of the time, we don't make any noise at all. We're just sitting there observing and listening. with audio recorders, video cameras, trying to document what we're experiencing so we can share it with you guys and let you guys make up your own mind if it's a Bigfoot or not. I always say you have to have an experience where you can say it couldn't be anything else but, and put whatever you want on there: a Bigfoot, a ghost, a UFO, a river monster, or whatever. So anyways, like I said, most of the time we're pretty quiet. The times that you hear us making noises is because we're responding to their tree knocks or their screams, and we're trying to see if we can get them to respond back. So that's why we do that. And a lot of the times when it's quiet and we're not making any noise, it's just slow. Nobody wants to watch a half an hour video of us just kind of standing around listening. It would be boring as hell and nobody would watch it. So when we're making those knocks, when we're making the howls, when we're making the screams and stuff like that, and the whoops, it's because we're responding to them or trying to get them to interact with us. Like I said, 90% of the time we don't make any noise at all. We just sit and listen, or we're visually looking for footprints or hair samples or any kind of DNA we can collect. So, all right, guys, again, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you guys so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And you guys have a great weekend.